that you all have seen me today, and I sure appreciate it. We do on Sunday what we call interviewing people who have lost weight. And I find that it's the most encouraging time on Sundays to let us know that we do have hope. So y'all know I am Debra Ann Matthews, and what I do is I talk about knee pain, back pain, chronic pain, obesity, weight loss, all the stuff. Even for those of you who really don't have no weight to lose, but you got the world weighing on your shoulders, come over here and join us because my channel is simply called Lose Weight With Me, honey. And that's what we are doing. So today we have our special guest, Stephanie Pointer. And when I tell y'all, this is going to be a treat. I'm going to read her bio. I want y'all to pay attention, listen, and take some notes. Because if you're going to get nothing else, you're going to get some encouragement and support on this channel. Remember earlier today, we talked about how most people don't progress because they won't stop reiterating the negative stories that they got to tell that don't nobody want to hear about. Let me sit down my rice and peas right here, right quick, and get to reading. Hold on just a quick second, okay? Give me just a quick second because I want it to be heating up while I am talking. Awesome. So here we go. Let me read this wonderful bio. Stephanie Pointer was born in Lancaster, Ohio. Didn't know that. She was raised in Charleston, South Carolina, and Nashville, Tennessee. Stephanie dropped out of high school in ninth grade. She went to work at her stepfather's glass business, where she advanced to become the branch manager. After obtaining her GED, Stephanie went on to graduate with highest honors from Nashville Technical College with an associate's degree in business management. Stephanie then attended the University of Louisville, where she received her bachelor's degree and master's in teaching with honors. She taught middle school in Louisville, Kentucky public schools for 8 years before moving to Fort Meade, Maryland, with her husband. There, she taught job at Job Corps for 2 years before moving to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Her family then relocated to Tampa, Florida in 2012. I have to stop there and tell y'all a little joke. You know, I'm a resume writer, and I did a resume for somebody that your husband was supervising. So Stephanie took the resume home to him, and she said, her husband said, "Oh, this is really a good resume." And oh, my soldier can't do none of the stuff on the resume.
That's right.
That was hilarious. But hey, we can write it for you.
That's right.
So Stephanie continued teaching K through 12 for 5 years in Tampa. She has owned and managed her own rental property since 2006. After watching military families struggle to manage properties after moving away from the city, Stephanie decided to help them learn to manage their own properties that she had. Stephanie obtained her real estate license in 2018, focused solely on assisting military families with renting and managing their homes when the military required them to move. Stephanie has served on the board of Southtown Park Homeowners Association since 2014. She is the president of the Tampa's Homeowners Association of Neighborhoods since 2021. She has helped numerous neighborhood associations with forming, organizing, and land use issues. That's very important. The board's primary focus is to work with the city of Tampa to ensure that the needs of neighborhoods are considered when making policy decisions and ordinance changes. Oh, that's important. She is the president of the Gandy Civic Association and a member of the American Legion Post 138 Auxiliary. She serves on the City of Tampa's Budget and Finance Committee since 2021. In November 2019, she founded the Stop Overbuilding SOG initiative to address the unconstrained development of massive apartment buildings south of Gandy. In this role, she and her team of volunteers have met with the mayor, city council, and city planners multiple times and have developed six mediations with developers. As a result, the city council has voted no to the development of six apartment complexes, reduced the footprint of these apartment complexes by 10%, and is currently reviewing the city's comprehensive plan as it pertains to coastal high hazard areas south of Gandy specifically. Her husband, Keith, is a retired U.S. Army officer. They have two children, Jack and Jane Ann. Ladies and gentlemen, we are introducing to some and reacquainting with others, such as myself, Stephanie. Tell us about that weight loss journey, Stephanie.
Well, in 2021,
Hmm.
in 2020, I actually went to the bariatric doctor because I felt like I just felt really run down, and so I went to see them. I had went to my primary care physician and talked to him about having weight loss surgery, and they said, well, we can send you. You're really close. I think it's the 35% threshold. And so
Hmm.
but they gave me some advice, keeping your protein intake high and keeping your carbs low, and cutting out as much sugar as possible. And by the time I got to the doctor, I had lost and I was below the 35% threshold. So my husband had went with me that time, and then I fell in Marietta, Georgia, and broke my leg in 4 places, and I ended up in a
What?
wheelchair for a couple months. Yeah, I made Tiger Woods' high impact car crash look like light work.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, so I did a doozy on my leg. And so I literally scooted my butt up and down the stairs in my house, and at least a dozen other houses, because I was still putting houses on the market for rent, and didn't have anybody else to do it but me. So I was scooting up and down people's stairs on my butt.
Lord, have mercy. Just overachieving everywhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So and then the end of 22, I had just I decided that I just felt like I was bigger than I wanted to be. I was uncomfortable, I was miserable, and I said, well, I'm going to go back to the doctor. And I didn't even tell my husband. I didn't tell him until I'd already had both of my nutrition appointments, and I had already lost about 10 or 15 pounds by then. But I was
Hmm.
still over that threshold because I had gained so much when I broke my leg. And so I went and had surgery on the February 23rd of 23. And
Okay.
that was the day. And since then, I mean, some people have a lot of issues. I really honestly have not had a whole lot. The only thing I really can't eat is like pulled pork. Everything else seems to be okay. Don't give me 2 cookies because I'll be asleep. I'll go into a diabetic coma. I told the nurse practitioner, I said, if I eat a bunch of sugar, I just take a nap. She said, honey, you're going yourself into a diabetic coma because your body doesn't process sugar the same way it used to. I was like, oh, well, thank you for letting me know that. So
Exactly.
I so I have to be careful not to even, and it's still easy to,
Hmm. Okay, so when you
when
say
you when
35, you keep saying 35 threshold. What do you mean by that?
your BMI is more than 35%.
Okay, so that's the threshold for which you qualify for, in your instance, for weight loss surgery.
Yes.
Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
what was your highest weight?
256.
256. And what's your current weight?
About 166. I'm staying right in that. That seems to be where my body wants to be. I got down to about 154, and it just
Hmm.
I stayed right about one. I
When
stayed
you
there
live,
for a long time.
yeah, when you were living here in Clarksville, were you less than 164?
Oh no, no, no. By the time I moved here from Clarksville, I think I was about 195. Right, I was
Okay.
hovering right around 200 then.
How much did you weigh when you graduated high school? Before you had children?
Oh. Um I weighed about 135 until I
Hmm.
quit smoking.
Yes,
And
I
then,
figured as much. Okay, that sounds
I
good.
mean, I'm a big girl anyway. It doesn't matter. Even when I'm skinny, I'm still, I mean, as much as I
I
weigh,
didn't
people say,
remember
oh,
that
you're
you were
skinny.
big at all.
Right. Yeah. So, it just, I guess I carry it fairly decent, but I can
Okay.
tell the difference. I picked up, I told somebody the other day that my son had some kettle weights, the
Mhm.
kettlebells, and
Mhm.
somebody was looking for some, so I gave them to her, and I picked all of them up at one time, and it was 45 pounds worth, and I thought, oh my lord, I carried around twice this much on my frame every day, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
and you start picking it up and you think, oh my goodness, look at what I'm carrying around with me every single day.
Oh yeah. When you were so you had the weight loss surgery, and you
Mhm.
pretty much, it seems like you eat everything except pulled pork. You're just eating smaller amounts. Tell me about
Yes,
that.
significantly. So, I don't. It's funny because I don't even use a full size plate anymore most of the time.
Mhm.
Even if I go out to eat with friends and stuff, I just order a box, a to go box right then and there. Now, I'll try and shove it in there because it's just the normal not paying attention. It takes a long time to get over that, and even you're more conscious about it after you have surgery, because when you start out, you can only take like a medicine cup full of liquid at a time, because that's how small your stomach is. And
Okay.
so you're not even supposed to use straws. Um, and I can use a straw now, it doesn't bother me. But and I'm glad because I get more water in that way. But
Okay.
you start it out, I mean, they sent me home with, basically like NyQuil cups. And
Mhm.
you have to get 15 of them in an hour, and it was hard to do in the beginning. Um and and then over time, I think you had to stay on a liquid diet for 2.5 weeks, and
Uh-huh.
then you could start eating soft food like cottage cheese
Mhm.
and beans and yogurt, those kind of things. Whatever it is high protein, because they still want you to get about 90 grams of protein a day.
Okay. How is that for you now versus when you first started?
I still, I still pretty much get that. I mean, I get close. The big thing for me is making sure that I start out the day with something that's high protein, either a protein shake that's 25 or 30 grams of protein, or the other thing I really like is the high protein yogurt with some high protein granola on it for breakfast.
Okay.
So I start out the day with 25 or 30 grams of protein, and then take that in throughout the day. Um, I almost think that I snack too much sometimes because I eat a lot of cottage cheese,
Mhm.
um, and then just straight eating whatever kind of meat I prefer to eat, whatever that is for the day.
Okay. So
Eggs.
you eat sausage, you eat peppers, you eat
Hmm.
steak, you eat chicken, you eat fish, you
Yep.
eat everything just in
Uh,
small amounts.
yep. Just in smaller amounts, and throughout the day. I mean, it's funny because and one of my favorite things is those little individual packages of peanut butter. I keep those with
Yes.
me all the time because I'll be an hour down the road, and go, "Oh my gosh, I'm starving." I mean, my stomach hurts, I'm starving. So,
Uh-huh.
because it digests that much faster.
Mhm.
So, and you have to take a lot more vitamins.
Mhm.
They've got me on, it seems like I was filling my pill box this morning. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I take like 20 vitamins." Um, and most people have to take iron because you're not getting enough iron. Um,
Mhm.
uh, I don't have to.
Really?
So she drinks milk and eats cheese and whatnot instead of taking a vitamin D supplement. She says that milk. She said she drinks milk. I don't drink milk.
Yeah.
Milk is disgusting if you ask me. I've never been a milk drinker except for when I was pregnant. So
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that sounds really good. That's really good because most people that I've been interviewing who've had weight loss surgery and who've lost, I mean, I've been interviewing people who've lost quite a bit of weight, but they're still working on their weight. So some of them don't eat cookies, and then some of them eat a dessert, but that's like that maybe is a protein kind of desserty
right.
thing.
Mhm.
So we haven't talked about that. And honestly, I haven't had any sugar since July. And we had a
Mhm.
celebration in October. I had a little piece of homemade chocolate cake. Matter of fact, I
Mhm.
had two pieces, and then I didn't crave it the next day because I just am not eating any sugar, no honey, no
Right.
syrup. But I'm still in very much weight loss mode. So I'm glad to hear. I figured when I got to my goal weight, then I'll revisit
Excellent.
eating some sugar things in moderation, of course.
Well, if I want something
Hmm.
sweet, I make sugar-free Jello with a protein shake.
Okay. Okay.
Now, and but I usually make it with the protein shake. So I have vanilla protein shakes, and then they have
Hmm.
them with some Cool Whip on it. I'm good to go.
Okay.
Or Cool Whip with peanut butter protein.
Okay. Hmm. We're breaking up, but hopefully we'll come back soon. Okay. Keep talking.
Okay, so that is really important on you and push it on you
Yes.
is drinking your water and
Hmm.
getting staying hydrated. And I since I had surgery. Now, there are other people who drink coffee or tea or whatever. I I used to drink tea every single day. But what I've found is that if I drink that tea, that's what I want to drink all
Uh
day.
huh.
So I stick with the water. If I go out with my tea at home, and I use artificial sweeteners, which you're probably not supposed to use, but I like the pink stuff. Um, so it's that's a treat for me now, where it used to be something I would drink every single day. And I don't, as a rule, I don't use caffeine at all anymore. I just got my 40-ounce jug from the Target, and
Hmm.
I fill it up 2 or 3 times a day, and that way
Hmm.
I tried different cups, but I and tried drinking out of different water bottles and stuff, and I found that I
Hmm.
like this one because I know if I get two, I've got all my water for the day.
Oh,
So,
that's encouraging too. That's a good one. I literally have a 2 gallon water, and I used to buy 10 of them, but since groceries have gotten so doggone expensive, I'm down
no,
to about 2 or 3 at a time. And so I'm
right.
just like, look. But I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. So what would you say to people? How was it when you had to do the liquid? Because people are kind of nervous about the 2 week liquid fast you have to do before the surgery. So what do you say about that?
I don't think I did. I don't think he made me do that. I'm
Oh,
pretty
he.
sure that I didn't. I remember thinking that I'd seen other people on some of the bariatric groups that talked
Uh
about
huh.
that, but I don't think I had to go 2 weeks without without eating. I was on they called something about the liver diet. I forgot what it's called. Something about your liver, where you're really, really low carb,
Uh
very,
huh.
very low amount of uh you're eating vegetables and very small amounts of stuff, and I can't remember what all of it was. It's been I've slept a couple times since then. So but no, I really don't think so. But of course, my doctor's pretty progressive. Like, they took my gallbladder out at the same time,
Hmm.
because a lot of people have gallbladder issues.
Exactly.
um
Yeah, they don't require. They didn't talk to me nothing about how much weight I need to lose before the surgery either. I was approved a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, but I didn't want to
mhm,
do it, and now I want to do it. So I do see in this area they've been doing it for over 30 years in
yeah.
Nashville, and I actually the surgeon here, he's African American. He went to Meharry, and then he did his internship at Howard University. So
Mhm,
he is such a, doctors are kind of cool anyway. They don't talk too loud. They don't talk too
yeah,
slow. They don't talk too fast. So I
right.
really feel like I can trust him. And now
Yeah.
I found out we got some issues with this insurance. Looks like
Mhm.
insurance has really changed. So we have to sit down and look at which insurance we're going to go with. Just because, I don't know, when they don't pay on time, the hospitals don't want to use them anymore.
Yeah.
But what I find out for me is that most people who had weight loss surgery were working on their weight, had weight loss surgery, and
Mhm.
still kept working on their weight. So if
Yeah.
I do nothing different, I've lost 105 pounds in since
That's
this year and
amazing.
last year. Now, the funny thing about it is I've been exercising for 27 months with Coach Storm Sims. I don't know if you remember him,
Mhm.
Special Forces, and at the Y and everything. And don't you know, 15 months ago, I wasn't tracking my weight loss because every time I stumbled, I just forgot I lost weight. So I
Right.
probably lost more weight than that. But now, if I just do exactly what I'm doing right now, I'll be 218 by December 31st next year. So
Woohoo!
have the surgery, yes. If it's available with my insurance, if it's not, I'm just gonna keep rolling. So I'm
Oh yeah.
excited either way. But I'm not. It's what I love about it now. Everybody and the doctors, they're not telling you it's a super cure. If you have the
No,
sleeve, you're
it's
going to
not.
lose 80 pounds. If you have gastric, you're going to lose 120, 130, and you're going
Right.
to keep on going. If you
Right.
eat a whole lot of food, your body's going to receive it after a certain period of
Mhm.
time. So it's just a tool,
That's right.
and it's an encouragement tool to help you to keep your weight off and to get your health back.
Right.
Um,
And there's a lot of folks who don't do as well as I have on it. But everybody's different. And
yes,
so,
and
some people lose a lot right away and some people keep
yes,
losing after a certain point. That's why when I started coming back up, I was like, you know what? I'm okay. As long as I'm below 170, I'm still
yes.
wearing a size 12. I
Okay.
mean, that
Yes.
to me is comfortable.
Yes.
Uh,
We had a young lady we interviewed in Dallas. She had three weight loss surgeries. And for 9 months, she didn't lose any weight in the second one. But after 9 months, boom, the weight just fell off. So I'm glad we're having this discussion because even I know people who had to sleep 15 years ago didn't lose a pound. But you gotta keep working it. You gotta
mhm,
keep working it. You've got to get the support. You've got to keep
right,
working it. That's just like when I lost 33 pounds last year and ate popcorn for 4 months. But I kept working it until I could get to the point where I was like, not I can get a small bag of popcorn. Just
right.
but you just gotta keep working it. You gotta keep working it. So there are people who are out there who are scared. What would you say to them, Stephanie? What do they need to know to really, they want to do it, they want to lose weight, they want to be smaller, they want the support. What advice would you give them, that because
Right. I after having two babies, I don't think it was worse than having a baby by any stretch of the
awesome,
imagination.
awesome.
Um, and and I think the worst to me was the pain up under your ribs after surgery, and I tried a couple different things, and it takes you getting up and walking around
Yeah.
and just forcing yourself to get up and walk because they blow in air under in your belly so they have room to work because they just make. I think I've got 3 or 5 little tiny incisions that are less than an
Mm-hmm.
inch long. And so they blow your stomach full of air while they're in there working, and all that gas is moving out. Oh, it's miserable. It's like the worst
Yes.
period cramps you've ever had, but it's up underneath your ribs. That's the worst.
But
So,
don't they make you get up and walk after four
yeah,
hours
yeah. Now I didn't do as well as I mean, like I have babies and was out walking in the hallways and they're like, you need to go home because you don't belong here. But I tried that after this surgery and I was feeling like I was going to throw up. And of course you don't have anything in your stomach. So you're just dry heaving, which is it sucks. I'd rather dry heave any day of the week than to really throw up. So
mm-hmm.
and I did it a couple times the first couple hours, but after that, I just, but I have I know that I have a pretty high threshold for pain. So, but I didn't feel like it was any better or any worse than having a couple babies. You
Okay.
know, I mean, I've had a couple different surgeries before, and I didn't feel like I left anything at the hospital that it was very traumatic.
Okay. What about after you had the surgery?
Mhm.
Tell us about how often you went to the doctor. Did you have any emergency situations where you had a situation where you had to call the doctor? They said, "Come in. This is happening." And in your doctor's visits, do you go to the doctor now, even for the bariatric?
Yes. Okay. So for the first 6 months, I think you have to go every month, and you have to get your blood drawn. They want to check your levels of all your vitamins and everything, and make sure you're getting everything you're supposed to. Um, and I'm wanting to say probably it was, I think it was almost a year out. I had a problem with GERD where I was having heartburn really bad, and and I called the doctor's office, and she's like, "Well, unless you have GERD, we're not going to see you." And I'm like, "Okay," but I wasn't home. I didn't have a chance to Google it, and didn't realize that GERD is basically heartburn. And so, yeah, we had to come to Jesus about that the next time I went to the doctor, because I was like, that girl shouldn't have told me that I didn't need to come in. She should have put me on the phone with the nurse practitioner or a nurse.
Exactly.
It wasn't her job to do that. And we had a really, um, we had to come to Jesus about it when I went back to the doctor. I ended up about that was on a Friday night, and Sunday about 3 o'clock in the morning, I got up and drove myself to the hospital because it was all in my chest, and it hurt like hell. And if I'm, I thought, well, I'm gonna if I'm gonna have a heart attack, let me get to the hospital. And I thought, well, should I wake my husband up? And I thought, no, I'm just gonna let him sleep. I sent him a text message that I knew he'd get as soon as he got up, and said I went to the doctor. And he goes, well, what if you died on the way there? I said, well, that's good. You can live in your house for the rest of your life, because then I wouldn't die in the house. So, and
She's crazy.
I know I don't have any sense. So I got they did the EKGs, and they figured out that I had GERD. So they gave me some medicine for it, intravenously. And then I have the pills. So now if I start feeling like that, I can take one. It's just one
Yes,
little white pill. And I have it maybe once every 6 weeks or so. I don't take them very often.
that's
And I
good.
can't figure out what I do to make it happen. I think sometimes it's probably just me getting all spun up about something more so than my stomach being upset. But
Mm-hmm.
that's my only issue, that I've had the whole time. Um, but and that's all it was. I had GERD, but
That's
I didn't
awesome.
know what GERD was. It's heartburn, or a form of
What about
heartburn.
right now? How often do you go to see your weight loss doctor right now?
Well, almost 2 years out. I was supposed to go last month, but we had a hurricane, so I didn't go,
Oh
and
yeah.
I haven't
Hmm.
rescheduled it. And they never did call me to reschedule it, so it's on my to-do list to call and reschedule. So,
Hmm.
but I think I'm supposed to go every 6 months now, and just basically all they're doing is checking my blood levels, making sure that I'm doing okay. Um, and I haven't, I really don't have much of a need to go in, but I'll go and show up.
That's right. That's awesome. I love that. I love that. I love that. So okay. Anything else you wish you would have known that you know now that you maybe would have helped you a little bit?
No, I really and truly, I tell everybody I would do it again in a skinny minute. And I'm the first person to tell somebody when they say, "Oh my gosh, you've lost so much weight. That's so much work." And I'm like, "Yes, but I had help, and I had
That's right.
surgery." Because I prefer that folks understand that sometimes it's just hard to lose weight, and our bodies were not made to be sedentary.
That's
And
right.
our bodies were made to go out and farm in a field and
That's
hunt in the
right.
woods and all that other stuff. And now we don't live that kind of
That's
lifestyle
right.
anymore. And so it you just I mean, even when I'm skinny, I mean, I'm skinny now, in my opinion, and lots of people's opinions, but I still weigh 167 pounds, 68 pounds, whatever. But because I'm just a big girl. and so um it but our bodies just aren't made to do that
And you
unless
are
you're
exactly,
exercising
you are a
all the
thousand
time.
percent right. I just saw something about Hong Kong and how they're the healthiest in the world because they eat different meats based on the weather, and they use
Mm-hmm.
the different herbs based on the weather. And
Wow,
they keep changing out. Isn't that amazing? And
it
they
is
use
amazing.
a soup for everything. It may be pork, beef, lamb, but based on the weather. And that
Hmm.
makes sense because you might need more soupy, more protection against colds and flus if it's
Right.
raining. If it's cold, if it's hot, you need to cool off.
Hmm.
And so I said we might be going to Hong Kong when I get my weight down just to check it out. So
There
I
you
love
go.
that. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that. I thank
that
you.
that airplane was a big deal for me because I was at the very edge of the seatbelt, and now I'm like, woo! I got this much room on the
Girl,
seatbelt.
hallelujah. I
That
already
was a
know
big
about
deal.
that one. I have to take the whole seat when I do Southwest. And I
Right.
bought a first class ticket at Delta. Them first class seats wasn't no bigger. They ended up giving me some of my money back because I thought, back in the day, first class seats used to be huge. But
Right.
yes, ma'am, I can't wait to get in that seat belt and just have one seat. So yes,
There you go.
ma'am. Oh,
I
that's
get it.
good. You look good. Your arms look so
Well, thank
skinny.
you. I got a little. I got a little wiggle, but not too. It's not too bad.
That's
I know some
good.
folks really, really get upset about that, and I'm like, I don't
Oh yeah,
care.
that wiggle is for the kids to play with. My niece came over here, and she is 11. She still likes to play with it. That's her play toy. And so you gotta love yourself, love it out. But let me tell you what someone told me at the gym. She said, with your stomach, get the doctor to get you some cream for your stomach, and
Uh-huh.
that way you'll show a record of needing to work on that stomach, and
Right.
when you need to get the tummy tuck, they'll approve it. But you
Hmm.
got to
Yep.
show evidence that you've been working on it. I said,
That's
girl,
right.
and then when the doctor do the tummy tuck, he'll do your breast lifts at this. He want to do it. And I'm like, wait a
Oh
minute
yeah.
now, go ahead. We've got to share these tips because we've got to get the insurance to pay for this stuff. Lord knows we pay enough with this insurance that we have,
Right.
and we've got to just like other than the young lady who had the three surgeries, but she had
Hmm.
the band and the band went behind her kidneys, but she was fellowshipping with her doctor, so they were right on top of it. She said to make
Wow.
sure that your doctor understands how to do revisions because there
Uh-huh.
may be a situation where revision is necessary. Then she had the
Yeah.
sleeve and she didn't lose any weight, but she kept on. And then they said, let's go ahead and do the gastric. And now she's an
Hmm.
educator just like you. Now she works at the clinic. So she's
Wow.
able to tell the story. She's stuck with it, and baby, weight down is beautiful. So that's
That's
the
awesome.
thing. This weight loss surgery is very helpful.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, I've made a lot of changes in what I eat and how I eat. Slowing down,
Yes.
small portions, small plate,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and that helps. But but the surgery, gave me the jumping off point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And even those who won't get the surgery, it's the same principle. Small portions. Be
Mhm.
mindful of what you eat. Be mindful of your stress. Be mindful of your emotions. It's all of us are in this thing together saying we can get this weight off.
That's right.
And not you haven't said one negative thing about how you beat yourself up, slashed your wrist. You've got to be positive. You've got
That's
to
right.
know that you can get the weight off because that's
And it's
half the
making
battle.
little changes, little
Yes, that's
changes.
right. That's
Just like
right.
every time I went to the doctor, they were on the third floor. And I would park in the sixth floor in a parking garage every time. So I'd have to go down and then come back up and go back down and go back up. And I
Oh
made it a
God.
point when I started going to the doctor there. I said, I'm going to walk up and down these stairs. Now I would take the elevator up.
Ah. Oh my goodness.
Stairs going up takes some time, but I mean, I don't have to stop three, four, five times now.
Oh, that's so
When I start,
encouraging. I
yeah.
can't wait till can do that as well. I am going to retire my cane on Tuesday. I'm going to take it two more times, but
Woo!
I've been working with physical therapy. I can stand
Mhm.
up. I can stand up without it. I have to just remember all the positive
Mhm.
environments where they cheerlead me on. So I just have
That's
to
right.
keep my mind focused on that and just say I can get up and get on up.
That's right.
So
Amen.
yes, so oh, this was so inspiring. Thank you. I'm gonna
Well,
tell you
thank you
something.
so
I
much
don't
for
know if
having
you
me.
know this, but you know how in this military environment we meet people and we just like them to death. You are
Oh,
one of
yeah.
those
That's
people
right.
I just like to death. It doesn't matter if if we hit a Facebook post over the years. I go, I just like that Stephanie.
Well, thank you. I love you too.
Okay.
I, tr-
And I
I try
can't
and stay
wait.
out of
I've been
trouble.
to Tampa before. So, I'm still doing resumes. So the next time we have a conference in Tampa or the next time I go, because I'm going to meet me a sugar daddy who's going to take me to the beach, we're going to come by
That's
and
right.
have dinner with you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, and
All
when I
right.
get
Well,
my convertible Cadillac, or I might get a Mercedes convertible, but whichever the case may be, my apple is going to be blowing in the wind. We come down to Tampa
woo.
and we're gonna go to that farmers market. That's a couple of things to get some good herbs, whatever. I've been
Oh,
watching
yes.
TikTok, so thank
Yes.
you. And you know what? I appreciate your hard work. We've got to do something. That's one reason why I really want to get this weight down, so I can get back in the community and keep. I do a little bit, but we need to serve and we need to challenge the status quo because they are just off the chain here in Clarksville.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Oh yes,
That's my passion, helping other community members and teaching them how to do it themselves. But
awesome.
thank you so much for having me. I'm gonna go feed my husband his supper.
Oh, well, wonderful. Thank you, Stephanie. We appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you, everybody,
Have a
for
good
being with
night.
us tonight. Good night.
Okay. Bye
Bye.
bye.